All right, good morning everybody. We're out here another very cold, brisk morning, amazingly enough for this time of year. Taking a look at some of the trees, but let's talk about other times that we should think about it, because obviously, as you mentioned, the tree's working year round.
Yes.
And that one application's very important to make sure that happens, but the reality is the challenge is that requires to put amendments on exist all year. And so how else can the grower think about when they should be putting on these amendments and nutrients throughout the year?
I love the idea of split applications, putting one on in the fall.
As early as you can.
Yes, as early as
post-harvest
possible.
Yeah.
And then coming back early spring, because as we irrigate, as we get winter rains, gypsum is being utilized and being used up.
Right.
And if you have heavy rain years, or you have, just irrigations, it's going to be used up, and you don't want to run out of adequate calcium sulfate in your soils down the tail stretch, say August or end of July, August, and not fully be able to complete this crop and take advantage of every aspect that Mother Nature let us have that particular season.
Truly. So another broad application potentially in the spring, if it could be in your budget. Mm-hmm. Would you say you want to split that or do roughly the same, or obviously it's all dependent on the conditions in the field that would require or not require?
I let the soils dictate everything I do.
Talk a little bit about that process and what you do to ensure that it's getting what it needs, not just what we think it needs.
So post-harvest, without fail, I sample every orchard, and I do most of that myself just because I want to know where in the block it came from, how it was sampled. We use a very qualified lab that I have full faith in.
Third-party lab?
Third-party lab, yes.
Right.
And I let those numbers dictate exactly rate and timing of what I'm going to do.
And you're looking at different areas in the orchard too. So throughout an orchard, it's not a homogeneous soil. Often, you'll have a clay loam in one spot, and you might have a sandy loam in another spot. Mm-hmm. And if you go to the coast, you'll have calcareous spots next to heavy organic matter, next to light. And so in all these instances, how do you think about where you test for those samples?
So we try to make separate applications if need be, if we can. It seems like the row orientation is never how God made the ground.
Sure, yeah.
So we do the best we can. If I have really strong areas, I want to know what's making that strong area versus a poor or underproducing area. So I'll sample those separately, and we'll make adjustments from there.
Depending on what, because there could be vast different soil conditions depending on where you are in that orchard.
Yes.
And that's ultimately a budget decision too, where you're thinking about the cost benefits of potentially a variable rate or different applications for different sections where those delineations are made, and trying to be thoughtful about the budgets that ultimately these growers are facing when thinking about their applications.
Yes, that's always for sure. But I've always said that the most expensive thing in farming is not making production.
Right, without a doubt, yeah.
So we try to do everything we can that's economically possible to make every row, every block produce the most that it can in that particular season.